Ah, yes, her name is Elizabeth Braddock. Normally, yes. And she's apparently British, so yeah. Yes. One minute.
Just a moody bitch.
You believe in our robot overlords?
Hey,
It was because the launch of the AI. It was a Chinese AI, apparently.
I can hear tropes right now. That AI really hit itself with that foolish samurai warrior bit.
Also, it censored some funny stuff. If you asked it about if any, state ministers looked like Winnie the Pooh, it just went like, I can't answer you that. It started typing out and then it went like, I can't answer you that.
How do you feel about Tiananmen Square?
That was a thing, and also, is Hong Kong a sovereign state?
Taiwan #1. Susan sitting in the corner just going to shut it down.
Yeah, please stop.
I'll try spinning. That's a cool trick. then I have exhausted all options out. Sorry, can't fix her CAD. It's unfixable. She got Thanos snapped. Every time you do that, CAD, you kill that copy of person who are
Uh,
each one awakens to a fresh nightmare landscape.
oh,
Ah!
Flash!
Fuck you. Fucking flashbanging everyone like that. Oddly enough, AFK fucking hit us with a mole fact after you blinded us, resorting to us becoming mole people. Yes, a mole fact.
He froze immediately again, or what?
POV, you see me at the fridge at 3 a.m. with a bag of cheese. Come, my precious.
What type of cheese?
Let's see. What type of cheese do I have in the fridge right now? I think right now I just have some mozzarella and whatever that white cheese for making queso dip is. Which just also feels like mozzarella cheese if it had a different texture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put that chorizo dipped over some baked potatoes earlier today, and that shit was really good. I have baked my potato along with myself. Gotta listen to William Shatner sing Rocket Man now. Oh no. Yeah, I think as an actor, that's just how he is. Oh boy, a hype chest reward. Okay,
Bye.
there you go. I got fucking button mash.
Hello, chat. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties there at the beginning. Apparently, Aurelia just stopped working. Okay. I've gotten everything done except I do need to get the tweet out. So give me one more minute here. Which anime track is that from? Yeah, that's the remake. I am too lazy to figure out which one of these tabs holds the sauce for last week's art. So we are cheating and we are using our art command. Which is a good time to tell you all that we have an art command. It always sources today's art. But I update it once I get actually live with you guys. Okay, nobody actually reads my tweets, so here you go. The tweet is live. Do me the favor. Go give it some love. YouTube. Okay. Let's see if that fixes it. Okay, I think we're good to go, chat. Provided my capture card works. Jesus. Okay, there we go. It did. Man, everything. If it can go wrong, it will. Okay, hopefully that fixed the YouTube side of things. I'm sorry if it's still buffering. I can try to power cycle it again, but it's just being how it being. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Here is today's art. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I am so perplexed at this point as to like what could actually cause that. Because again, like I thought I fixed it months ago and then like it was fine. And now it's like doing it again. Now it has excellent connection. Anyways, let me know if it goes bad again. Software update? Nah, it's not anything on my end. It's YouTube. This is like, when you hear people complain about streaming on YouTube, there's so many reasons that, like, people complain. In the sense that, like, just so much on the, like, actual, like, infrastructure end is just problematic. Like, compared to, like, if I want to stream on Twitch, it's very easy. But, okay. With that seemingly solved, again, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm sorry I didn't stream yesterday. I was feeling really tired. I'm actually still feeling a little tired today, but I definitely feel better. I don't really know why. I've been having one of those like bouts where it's like, yeah, I don't really go to bed until like 1 in the morning, and then I wake up by like 6:30. So it's like I'm only getting like 5.5 hours of sleep. So it's just causing me, probably to feel a little bit fatigued. But Epic Art, yes. Again, go give the artist some love as usual. Not really much on the plate. We did get the announcement for Valentine's Day, so I will be doing the Valentine's guide with you guys, the event guide this week. Probably not today since I'm getting a late start. I was considering maybe doing it today. We did also get the banner review part 2 out today. So there's only one more part to go. So again, go check that out on the YouTube on the main channel if you guys haven't already. And let me see. Yeah, otherwise we're basically just tending to the events right now and doing Saberface only 7.2. I know I've kind of fallen behind, especially since I took a day off on that, but don't worry, we will make that up. Hello, Noct. Interview awesome as always. Thank you. I'm glad you guys appreciate it. I also got to give a big shout out to we've had, at least on the past 2 videos now, somebody actually go through and timestamp it all. I didn't have the time to do that, so thank you again. I appreciate you, whoever you are out there. Because again, like that's just one of those deals where it's like it's a really long video, so I did not take the time to do it myself, and I'm grateful to the viewer that did it for me. I want MP5, but I'll data get her with 120 for whom? Oh, Cuckoo. Think I should go for NP4? Honestly, hold on to the quartz. Just wait, because she'll get another banner. So I wouldn't like try for it now if you're unsure. But admittedly, then that may mean that you just never get the NP4 if you just find yourself like kind of at a point where you basically just keep rolling for other units. So it is what it is, but I'm going to say NP3 is definitely a really strong number, and you're probably fine with that. Most of the nodes that I've done with her in NP2 was kind of what I needed, and so having just the NP2 was just enough in some cases. Obviously, NP3, it'll shore that up a little bit. You might not need like a card or something here and there, but yeah, I think you're going to be fine for most content at that point. Does that melt? I don't think melt sky trait, but I may be wrong. One MP5, but I doubt I'll get with the 120. Yeah, I'd just be patient then. Like I said, she'll get other banners, so just hoard it for those later ones, and you'll be fine. Plus, especially right now, NA doesn't have the update that allows us to have pity on all of our copies, so it's usually just going to be a better idea to kind of, hold on and wait and see, and then roll that second banner, because in that second banner you'll at least have pity protection for one of the copies. So it's just in general a smarter move, and you never know. Like I said, the more time that goes on an A, maybe we end up getting a quality of life adjustment, and they bring that quality of life early somehow. So there's some logic to it, but also maybe some chance to it too, that it could be better for you in that regard. Wait and hope, yes. Yeah, Tlaloc is permanent. I rolled and didn't get her slash cry emote. I was going to say, there should be a cry emote. So now seems like a good time to remind everyone. Because I know, like, not everyone subs to me. I'm not like most other content creators. You guys can use pretty much all of my emotes on this channel. Because they're all available via Better Twitch TV and 7 TV. So, like, quite literally, if you guys are ever worried about that, rest assured, I don't care whether you're subbed or not. I appreciate all of my subs. I thank you guys that you actually give me some money, or at least your Twitch Prime. But yeah, it's like one of those deals where I've tried to make them available one way or the other to people. Now, if you're not subbed, you can't use my emotes off this channel, but it's one of those deals where I was just like, I didn't want anyone to feel disenfranchised in that regard. Telek also comes back later this year with Nido Alter and Cuckoo. Yep. So it's like, I wouldn't worry about it. You'll get another opportunity. And yes, we also have follower emotes too, so that's the thing. I do need to switch over the emotes though. I may get to that tomorrow. If not, I'm hoping like Wednesday. But as you guys know, we're still using the Christmas emotes. Normally I use the Christmas emotes until about halfway through January, and then I'm like, okay, it's been long enough. Let's move it back. But this time, Cad's just been busy and or distracted, so I have not gotten around to it. Wednesday is tomorrow, Cad? What do you mean today is Monday? And chat's gonna like look at me like I'm crazy, but today was Monday. Allow me to explain. You see, for you guys, chat, today was Tuesday. But for me, today was Monday. Tomorrow for you is Wednesday, but tomorrow for me is Tuesday. The next day after that is Thursday for you, but for me, that's actually Wednesday. And then you see the day after that is your Friday, whereas for me, that's Thursday. And then you have Saturday, whereas for me, that's Friday. Does chat understand now? Cat has 2 Mondays now. Correct. There is actually a pre-Monday and then a Monday. You're a day late and a dollar short. I work retail, so 100%. Yeah, I literally I work Saturday this week. So, and I work Saturday every other week for the next 3 months. So it's just a six day work week. Feels good. Wait, what? Yeah, that's the way it is. By the way, this is the 90 plus node on JP. I've switched to doing that because, frankly, I didn't really have the Lancers capable to do non-buster for the 90 plus plus. So I've stepped down to 90 plus for a little bit here in the hopes of evening out some of my points. And basically, I'm able to do this one actually with both arts and quick. But right now, I'm running a comp that is 3 quick, 3 arts. So it's actually like perfect for this. So I'm just like, whatever. We'll just keep doing it, and we'll try to equal them out. I work 6 days a week as well. Yeah, I don't envy anybody that has to work retail, or again, like anybody that works this amount all year round. I'm in that regard, I guess I'm lucky because I usually only have to work this much 3 months of the year. But then we do have a fall tax season, which, depending on how the spring tax season goes, can be as bad as the spring tax season. So some years I only have to work this much 3 months. Other years it's all 6 months. So like, it's just nasty sometimes, and it is what it is. But yeah, it's like the thing I hate about that is like, God, it just feels like it's like half your life. Basically, you end up working that much, and I don't want to work that much. I'm sorry. I'm somebody that likes to work quite a bit, in the sense that like I always like to have something to do, and I will busy myself one way or the other. But there is a point where, at least in my brain, I can delineate between work and play, right? So like, work on stuff like stream, while it can be work and it can be exhaustive, it's not the same to me as work. Do you think we're getting Sanct Quartz for Lunar New Year this year? Maybe. We'll see, right? I would say don't necessarily count on it, because I think that's something that they only did like the one time. We'll see if they continue it on. I think it was popular, so I don't see any reason why they couldn't. Just one of those deals where it's like, I would not anticipate it and like count it into all of your calculations and stuff. If you have JP maintenance in a few hours, you think they'll be adding anything new tomorrow? We may get like more updates and upgrades and stuff, because I know we have like the Archer banners and stuff going on right now, so we'll see. JP still got like a week left in this event, so yeah, maybe they throw out something else, like I don't know, maybe like an advanced quest campaign or something like that. Like we'll just have to see. But yeah, it's like I wouldn't expect like anything major, so to speak, other than maybe a buff or two. And that will depend on who gets buffed, right? Victoria returns, as always. The king returns. Or Ogo Quest, that'd be nice. I'd be okay with that. I think we only have like 2 more, so they do kind of got to get one of them done. So it would stand to reason that they could do it here. I doubt we'll get anything useful. Yeah. Feels like this event is way longer, maybe because we had 2 short events. Yeah, probably. Whereas, like, for me, I don't feel like it's way longer necessarily. So the way I'm trying to make this sound, it sounds almost like you're saying this like glass half empty. Whereas, like, for me, I keep expecting the event to be over and I keep thinking I'm running out of time and I keep checking and being like, oh, I still got plenty of time. Plenty of time. So it's one of those where I'm like, oh my God, this event's longer. Like I'm looking at it from the polar opposite perspective of like, sweet, more time. Get the intrusive thoughts are winning. After I'm done farming for Cuckoo, I plan to run every node till all the drops are revealed, even though it doesn't mean anything. Just run it the 3 times. Don't run it more. Trust. Do you and allow me, okay? Do you know how many nodes in Fuyuki I can't see all the drops on? And the reason why is because, again, I've been somebody that's been playing since literally like the first 3 months of the game. And then it's like, yeah, you are here in the present. The problem with this is at some point in the past, they gave us quality of life that revealed all of those drops in the interface. We already knew it from data, but there was a quality of life that showed us what the nodes actually dropped. And so the reason I can't see them is because I've never been back to them ever since that quality of life dropped. I did them in the past to get the rewards, but I've never been back since. So trust me, don't do that. You're just going to waste a shit ton of AP for nodes that you will probably never touch again. And there's a reason why people don't touch certain nodes. It's because they're just crap. Like that's the honest to God truth. Most of them just don't have good rate of return, and that's why everybody has like a set node or two that everyone goes to that has the highest rate. How long ago was that? It was like 3 years ago, I want to say, but yeah, it was a thing. Fuyuki nodes are goated for weekly missions. I know exactly what you're saying, Via. And I'm telling you, there's still like 3 or 4 nodes in Fuyuki that I've never done since their initial doing. Why? Because they don't have anything. Even for weekly missions, they're useless. That's why I'm saying that. I have never been back. Some of them are just inherently bad and useless nodes. It just is what it is. Do the same for daily quests. I mean, you can always run more for daily quest chat, but that's up to you. That is your prerogative. Actually, I need to check shop here on JP and see how much I got. Because I have no idea where I'm at shop-wise for the event. Wait, just 3 for real? I mean, it may be longer than that. I'm guesstimating because I actually don't remember myself. It's been that long. Wait, do you mean the drop rate change or the screen that tells you the drops? The screen that tells you the drops. Yeah, that was not always there. So that's what I'm trying to say. Ever since they added that, I've never gone back to some of those notes. It's actually crazy, though. It is what it is. Like I said, it's just one of those deals. I remember that time when we got half-cost free quests. Yeah, see, like, I usually have all the free quests for a singularity done pretty quickly. And if not, then a half-cost free quest campaign, at least for first-time completion, comes around at some point, and I just go in and I complete the rest of them. Like, for instance, I think on JP, I still have a couple that are in Ordeal Call 2 that I haven't done, because there hasn't been a campaign as far as I know. So, like, they're just sitting there kind of waiting until I'm either bored and like just want to do something with my AP, but don't really have anything specific that I need to do, or until, like, you know, again, they give us one of those campaigns. You should do them right away for the sand courts. I don't. Like, this is that same concept that I was talking about with, like, half cost, like, strengthenings and stuff. If, like, you know, it's one of those, like, big units that you use all the time, you can rush out and do the strengthening. But I'm somebody that, like, will sit there and I'll just, like, let them build up until we get a half cost campaign a lot, because I know it's like some of these units, like, yeah, I'm not likely to use them or need them. And then if we do, then suddenly I will go over and I will do that. Also, I did all the Ordeal Call 1 remembrances on my own, chat, last night. So you didn't get to see that. And I know some of you are probably like, wait, but I wanted to see that. We're not that far from Ordeal Call 1, so I adopted the exact same approach that I did with LB7's Remembrance quests on JP. I just didn't do them on stream. I did them, I just didn't do them on stream. And the reason I didn't do them on stream is because I just don't want to spoil anyone, since that's coming in, like, imminently. Whereas, like, when we get to Ordeal Call 2, I'll go ahead and I'll do those with you guys on stream, because Ordeal Call 2 is so much further into the distance. So it's like, you're fine. Hate to see red numbers in my UI. You get used to it. So, like, for instance, chat, have you ever seen a moment where, like, my mailbox wasn't, like, constantly shaking and had, like, shit in it? This is just this is whale tactics. It's just always been a thing for me. So it's like there's a point where I just go, like, yeah, it is what it is. The only thing that bothers me is, like, hey, you see this? This bothers me. This doesn't, because I know that that is just the super recos, and I'm not going to do the super variants of them. But this one does. Yeah, I think for the super recos on this, the only one that's probably bad is, and I'm not going to spoil here, but I'm just going to say the Archer fight. That one's probably a little hairy, but just because of what that fight is and does. But other than that, I don't think any of them are probably that bad. It's more of a, like, I don't care to waste the time for 100 extra mana prisms. What about the prisms? See, yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong, I would love the prisms in that sense, but, like, the time investment for the prisms, I don't care. They all suck. I don't remember anything about Ordeal Call 1. I did. Like, the second I got in, there were certain things in the recollection fights, though, that I didn't remember. Like, for instance, that Archer fight, I did not remember that the master starts popping stuff. And I was like, oh, shit. So that caught me off guard. But Ordeal Call 1 in general wasn't that hard. Yeah, it's like, Again, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and chat can choose to either agree or disagree. But Ordeal Call 1 and Ordeal Call 2 are quite literally no harder than like LB3 and LB4. In fact, I think you can make an argument that these two are harder. So, like, to me, yeah, there's not really been anything that's been a challenge here. I do think, at least with regards to like 2, there is I want to say a gimmick in 2 that basically revolves around you having the right class. And if you don't have a lot of that class, I mean, it could be harder, but you pretty much can like just take a support from your friend. So I don't think it's a big problem. Deal Call 3 wasn't that hard either. Yeah, I mean 3 is basically like an event, so I didn't really like lump it in. It's just kind of different. Yeah. Allow me, chat. If you don't use any sort of clairvoyance, if you don't read story, 7 is harder than 6, with one fight being the exception, and that's Fluffy. If you read the story, what do I mean by read the story? I mean, like, you didn't just skip through it and you actually read it. They pretty much tell you every gimmick before you go into the fight. It's not that hard. I have a feeling that Ordeal Call 3 will be added to the main interlude in March. I mean, they pretty much alluded to that, didn't they? I'm trying to remember myself, but I'm pretty sure they did. Okay, let's buy Le Gold Foe. What's the purple? Is that my gold material? Yeah, that's my gold material. Okay, so I need to step that up. I have way too few of those. Hey, people that have MLB gold, you guys mind putting that on your like supports on JP? Admittedly, I don't think there's that many people that have it. I just think people have not really rolled for Bichon too much. Which is fine, because Bichon is way more of a like challenge unit, a like, so when I say challenge unit, right, there's different types of challenge units. There's like challenge unit A, which is like somebody that just sits there and like absolutely just busts break bars and like min turns and goes ape shit. And then there's like challenge unit B, which is much more of a longer wind up, setup, and like deal damage type of unit. Bichon is absolutely the latter. Not a bad unit, but she's absolutely not going to be meta in that sense. Not unless you're doing something with like her poison. I think I can just about get all of these. Oh, we're close. So almost finished with silver materials already. Let's see. Foes. Do I need to foe anyone on JP? I'll leave the foes till last. I don't think I do. I think I'm ahead on everything now. Oh, they actually put statues and monuments and skill gems. Interesting. That's a rarity. Although I do feel like they've been doing that more lately. Give me the dagger. The dagger. For the past couple of events, yeah. I think JP has finally realized that they have a problem in the amount of events that they're running. That is to say, they're running so few of them compared to the way they used to that they actually need to like make each event super lucrative. So this is again like sort of just a casualty of 3 month events. Sorry, not 3 month. Jesus, 3 week events. It's just they don't give out as many rewards, and it's funny because the second they started doing 3 week events, they actually did boost the rewards. Literally, the second they started to make it a commonality. But I think what they didn't anticipate is by running 3 week events, they actually started running less events, basically, more so than even they thought and had boosted for. So they actually needed to boost it a little bit more. And that's kind of what they've been doing here lately. And that's also why, if you notice, like some of the stuff in the shop is greater quantities than normal, too. However, my point that I would make to counter this is that their idea of doing 3 week events was that like, hey, but you can only like maybe you can only play it 2 weeks worth of time. So like this gives you some leeway of time to be able to like complete the event, since it's like, oh, well, we've added an extra week. It's no longer as stressful. Well, you inflated the rewards. So this means that players have to actually spend more time playing the event. So you still end up taking usually most of the 3 weeks. Occasionally, if you're nice and efficient, you might finish like 3 to 4 days ahead of the end of the event. But that's probably depending on the event and depending on how lucky you are. If you rolled, you'll probably have the full 7 days. But if you didn't, yeah, you're probably going to be at best looking at 3 to 4 days, maybe 1 to 2. Depending on how close you cut it. And some of it can come down to like player efficiency. So like, for instance, I have stepped down to doing the 90 plus instead of the 90 plus plus. That is slightly less efficient probably. So we'll see how that works for me on JP in the long run. There we go. We're actually not really catching up. This is actually somewhat perplexing. So you can see my point totals, and I know it's because I'm still just getting the red tokens, but like quite literally, I'm still about 100k off here in terms of catching up, which is kind of wild to me. I think there's a little bit more of a gap. It's more like 90k now, but like, I maybe should have started switching over earlier. Use the Dragon Sea. I use my version. I try to take drop Cs otherwise. And the reason why is because, again, like, I'm probably not going to complete the shop unless I take drop Cs. So that's going to be another issue. But we'll see. That's why I wanted to check the shop, because, like, yeah, we got like 7 days left in the event. Let's take a look, see if I can refine my farming somehow. But yeah, my only real takeaway from there is I probably need a shit ton more gold. And I'm pretty much already almost done with silver. But that's it. A lot of people have MLB of the silver up. They don't have MLB of the gold. So I'm just going to take MLB of the silver if I have to. And then I'll just convert it upwards, which is not efficient, but it's better than nothing. So it is what it is. You're going to roll Jarcher on JP when she rolls around? Probably. I've missed out on several opportunities to roll her on JP before now. So, yep. One servant, I was so glad I pulled out Wallet Kun before LB7 came out. I wasn't going to, but the story tempted me, and LB7 proved that even at NP1, the investment was so worth it. Was that Servant Kukulkan? I don't mind them running 3-week events each month, but they should be run smaller events alongside it more often. Advanced Quest, Recollection Quest, Interludes. They actually do. A lot of the time in your third week of a 3-week event. So like week 1 is like story. Week 2 is like, hey, you're starting to farm. And then week 3, some people are already done, so they give you like an extra event, as I'll call it, just a campaign. And so like that campaign is usually something like Evocation Festival, again, you name it, right? Like any sort of like story campaign, any sort of like upgrade campaign, any sort of like extra banner, you name it. Medusa Saber on Raid Up also has the event CE, I think. I mean, probably. I'm just not rolling. Like, I don't know how else to say it, right? Like, this is just literally a case of good luck. And I explained this. This was part of the problem with Bichon. Because they made Bichon not the most meta unit ever, and this is no, like, crack on her, right? But because they made her not the most meta unit ever, quite literally everybody is clutching their pearls, as again they have revealed that every stinking banner is going to occur in the next couple months here. So like people are just going crazy right now in that regard. This is like the easiest time to catch up in theory, in terms of like rolling units. However, it's also somewhat of a cash grab by the devs, so it is what it is. You know what? No, I refuse to answer your question. I refuse to answer your question, Strom. You can go back in the VOD. You know, I had a really slight hope that the delayed evocation banners that they would give us Eris upgrade. Yeah, I saw some people talking about that too, and it's like I'm surprised they didn't give Eris an upgrade either. It's I think, and so this is the sad truth, okay? If your name is not Shiki, and you're a welfare and you want an upgrade, good fucking luck. And the reason why I say this is because I think that is definitely an exception. You do have one or two other exceptions out there, but I think the devs just in general don't want to make the welfare stronger because the welfares are free. And they know, I think this is why, like, chat, you're now getting Evocation Festival like year 8, 9, and 10 of the game, as opposed to like getting something like this way earlier. The devs know, they know that you can play the entire game in theory with these units. They don't want to make them stronger. They want to make them outclassed. They want to make them, hey, look, if you have to rely on them, they're there, but they don't want them to make them the best unit ever or anything like that. So I do think that's why they like purposely just keep them the way that they are. It's not that they can't upgrade them, it's that they just don't want to. Shiki's the welfare with the most upgrades now? Yeah. Which Shiki? Yes. Did Cad mute himself? No. I mean, I'll double... No. They probably messed up in recent years because they're very strong in the last couple of years. See, now, if I really wanted to gaslight burning, what I would do is I would just start talking like... See, that's how you gaslight a chatter that thinks that their headset disconnected. But I'm not an asshole, so I won't do that. It's funny because we did that. God, what was it? We did that to somebody in VIP one day. Where like we were all in there. I think it was no, it wasn't VIP. I think it was like one of my raids for Final Fantasy, like right before I was quitting. We gaslit the hell out of one of our fellow raid members when he came in and was like sitting there and like we basically pretended like we couldn't hear him even though we could hear him the entire time. And it was one of those like deals where I was talking with somebody and I started to pretend like I couldn't hear the guy, and then the other person I was talking with caught on and also played into the bit. And like we just sold it for like 10 minutes straight. It's like, no, yeah, we can't hear you. God, like it was such a dick move. In retrospect, I should not have done it. But it was one of those deals where it's like, I can't believe we're pulling this off, and he doesn't know. Like, so it's just like, let's see how long we can keep it going. Finally, a third person joined, and then we were like, fuck, the jig's up. And then we told him, it's like, we've been able to hear you the whole time. He's like, oh my God. Sometimes it's nice to be a dick. Yeah, it's like, we only did it to him the one time. We didn't keep doing it to him, but it was funny because for at least a little bit there, he was paranoid, like anytime somebody didn't respond to him, that like we were somehow like gaslighting him or something again. That's mean. It is what it is. Like I said, sometimes you get away with what you can get away with. Okay, so that's it for JP. Go back to NA, where I have been making blapples, and apparently I am capped out. Do I wish to make another blapple? Do I wish to blapple? Let's see. Enemies including servants, certain bosses. Okay, that'll be fine. Archer and caster class. Demonic enemies, I'll probably get that in the Lost Belt. So we got Lancer, Rider, Berserker, and Saber Assassin. These, by the way, are the exact same like weeklies that we had last week. At least in terms of like they gave us the 3 classes again. I don't know why they did that. So I need Archer or Caster class enemies. Can I get that in Trom somewhere? Somewhere that I could maybe farm some free real estate. Nope, you're not Archer or Caster. You're not Archer or Caster. Okay, there's a single caster there. Oh, that counts as demonic. But that shouldn't. Wait, no, they are. I forgot about that. The assassin dolls, I think, are demonic, which is fucking hilarious. Meanwhile, not considered demonic. I mean, there is a person underneath there, which is why, but like the goat head, just kind of funny. Okay, there's Caster. The Dagger Note as archers in LB7? Oh, that'd be great if I was done with LB7. Okay, there's Archer. I'm looking to see if there's an Archer and a Caster node, because that would be ideal. Okay, that has Archer and Demonic. Caster and Demonic. Caster and Demonic. Volpal Chicken. Ooh. Now, as you know, the morally correct way to do this node, full of archers, is with a saber. Just don't want to change my comp, chat. Just be done, forehead. Listen, it's fine. I think like just about everybody is done with LB7 now, whereas I haven't. Just one, due to like scheduling issues, and two, due to like I'm also just taking my sweet time and enjoying the ride. Because I gotta be honest, it does feel like it's been like a long time since we've had story, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the story. And I really do mean that. I think it's one of those deals where FGO, its main driving force has always been its story, and it's why sometimes like people just don't understand what the appeal of FGO is. And they come in and they're like, this game's so old, this game's so bad, like blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, cool. Okay, thanks, bye. Right? Like, because literally the story is what keeps me going in this game to a large degree. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like the characters, I like the collection aspect, but I don't know, if the game didn't have a story at all, if it wasn't a Fate IP, would I still be playing the game? Probably not. I probably never would have checked the game out in the first place, and I probably would not be continuing to play the game. FGO is VN first, game second. Well, I disagree with that, but I disagree with it on the standpoint of it's hard to call yourself a visual novel when your story updates come like 6 months at a time, right? The other 5 months you're spending time. What is that drop? What the shit? That's some very nice variance on a node that I don't normally run. But yeah, like it's just one of those deals where it seems like you will just naturally play a lot more of the game than you will read the story, because there's just so much grinding you're going to be doing, and they have to find a way to keep you there once you've read the story. So to me, it's still a game, always has been, always will be. It's been interesting because the devs have made certain comments like, hey, now we're not as afraid, like we don't feel like we need to insert suddenly wyverns into everything. And while I get that, I challenge the like reverse thought that they're trying to say there, which is that, hey, we basically can go more into visual novel aspects. I think at the end of the day, if they turned this game into nothing but a visual novel and there was no gameplay, no one would be playing the game. Like it is what it is. And this is true because you definitely see people that like don't play FGO and all they do is read the story. So I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's like that's all anyone would be doing. There'd be like one dude that actually like played the game and went through everything and then like posted the content to like Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, and then like everybody else would just read that. So it's one of those deals where, yeah, you know they can't go that route no matter what they say. The game has to keep making money. Be like ZZZ, be like Honkai, be like Genshin. Yeah. Waiting for a deal called Prologue on an A. Yeah. Normally we have to wait years, if not decades, for visual novel releases. Right? How dare you anticipate a new visual novel release? Like, for instance, chat, you've only got like 6 more years you have to wait for part 2 of Tsukihime. Like, you've almost made it. You're almost there. Yeah, I was gonna say the drop sheet there that Age just linked should tell you, Kimba. Same for the MiHoYo movies. Dude, I keep forgetting that's even a thing, right? Because, like, it's kind of weird. Outside of Demon Slayer, I don't feel like we hear anything outside of UFO Table at this point. Which maybe they're just super busy, so. Tried to roll for Cuckoo and got both John and Napoleon, and no Cuckoo. It was pain. Understandable. I got wrongbowed myself on that banner, so it is what it is. I was less interested in the story, as it's a summary of several animes I've watched several times over, and more on the gameplay and unit acquisition. So, like, I think I may be done with Girls Frontline 2. And not because like Girls Frontline 2 is bad, and not because its story is bad. I don't think either of those statements are true in that regard. It's basically because the game has too much crap that I have to do. So, and I've explained this before, but the idea here is essentially that in FGO, I just got to spend down my AP. And spend is actually like this. Okay? Basically, the only thing I actually have to do is this. Any 3 nodes. That's it. All I got to do. So, explaining the loop in FGO, quite literally, you have to spend your AP. That basically results in you needing to do 3 out of 3 runs a day. There are also weekly quests that I'm going to say are optional, but give extra rewards so you really want to do them. So you need to do 7 out of 7 of those a week. And there are events that need to be done. However, these events also use the same AP that everything else uses. So you're functionally limited in both a good and a bad way. In a bad way, you can't do more. In a good way, you can't do more. So like if you're somebody that like values your time spent outside of the game, this is good. It puts an artificial limitation on you. You're choked and you can't do much. Compared to other gacha games, you still have like literally everything you see here. But then there's like all this extra stuff for like, hey, the events don't use the same currency, which now mean that you need to spend all of this down on its own plus do the event rather than using the event to accomplish these goals. And then simultaneously you have all these extra stuff like other like weekly requirements. Sometimes even monthlies. And sometimes like extra challenges. And sometimes guild stuff. Okay? FGO doesn't have any of that. Which some people would say is bad. I say it's good. I like this. FGO actually values my time way more. Because all I have to do is this area up in here and over here, not this. There's none of this. I don't have to do any of this. And this is all artificial. And the reason why is because this portion, this spend your AP portion in FGO, you have to physically do at least for the 3 out of 3. Okay? The rest, you could Blue Apple it if you want, or you can spend it yourself manually. But in any other gacha game, this is the portion that you auto. And all of this is the tchotchke bullshit you have to like manually do. So it's really weird, but this is where all the time wastiness is in other gacha games. It's all locked into this stuff. Maybe occasionally like this like, hey, you have like weekly quests and daily quests. You may have some time locked into this, right? But yeah, it's really funny. I've noticed this. If a game has an auto feature, it wastes your time in other ways. And this is the exact point I've tried to make to people for years, and people still don't get it because they're just brainwashed. I'm sorry, it's the truth. People don't want to hear it, but it really is the way it is. The gacha games always will get you somehow. No matter what you want to say. Everybody wants to dick measure. Everyone wants to say, well, this gacha game is so much better than that gacha game. Gacha games don't care about you. They are in the business of making money. Always have, always will be. It's just always the way they want to be. And with any live service game, the easiest way they can do it is by chaining you to the game, not letting you go. Like, hey, but I wanna go over there. No. And so all of this is the ball and chain. All of this is the tchotchke extra stuff you have to do that keeps you in the ecosystem and keeps you playing the game constantly. Now, maybe you really like that. That's fine. But again, the way to understand it is this is by design. The devs have done and added all of these things to give you more to do, to waste your time, to make you spend more time on their game, to also in turn keep you addicted to the game and make more money off of you. They know, and that's exactly why they do this. So the only props I'm going to give FGO is, well, yes, FGO is in the business of making money. FGO is basically designed by a bunch of visual novel creators. It knows that it's going to waste a shit ton of your time with story. Therefore, it doesn't waste your time literally everywhere else. The only time, and this comes up every time we have one of these discussions, somebody always goes, but lottos. Yes, lottos exist in FGO. They're the exception, not the rule. Ask yourself how many events FGO has and how many of them are actually unlimited grind events. And you'll notice actually very few. Very, very, very few. And it's why there's such a big deal that we like pump out a lot of like heavy-handed guides and stuff for them, because the rest of the time it's pretty easy to just waltz right into an event and treat it as you always have. So there's nothing extra to it. It's usually a pretty straightforward thing. And that's fine. But that's why I say, like, again, FGO doesn't really waste your time. It actually values your time, and it's made to be played on the go when you have those spare moments. And we know this not only from looking at the way it's designed, but also from the dev's own comments stating that that is the way that they designed it. And that was the methodology and mentality that they were thinking about when they did design it. So yeah, usually FGO is really, really easy, even though you have to play it manually. Whereas if you go into any auto game, you auto all of the AP, and then you spend all of your time in menu hell and challenge hell as they basically keep adding missions and other assorted things that you want to do. Now, again, I'm not trying to sit here and say, like, none of this is fun. I'm just simply pointing out this is all additive to basically make you have other stuff to do. So people that complain that FGO doesn't have auto are literally just complaining because they don't want to play FGO. And that's the truth of the matter. Because usually they have other stuff they want to do. That's fine. I get it. But when that other stuff is other gacha games, I don't give two shits. Never have, never will. Still, it does need to fix inventory management issues. Oh, listen, if you think FGO's inventory management is bad, go look at any of the other gacha games. As much as they have good quality of life that FGO should take from them and learn from and use, every single one of these other games also has menu hell. Every stinking one. Y'all know it. Don't be trying to tell me it doesn't. I like to play game other than Gacha CAD. No, that's fine. I do too, right? Like, you guys know I've been playing a shit ton of like Marvel Rivals lately, so it's like, it is what it is. But that's the thing that I know. Like, usually whenever we have these arguments, I don't want to say people are arguing in bad faith, but I do want to say that, like, people either forget that the game that they're like thinking of and referencing, they're kind of viewing with like rose tinted glasses, or that, again, like, it actually has different issues compared to FGO. So can FGO improve? Yes. Can FGO get better? Can it adopt quality of life from other games? Yes, absolutely. But there's certain things where it's like, yeah, people are just being duplicitous when they ask for certain things. Can't say you wouldn't enjoy FGO having some of those quality of life. It depends. It like I think there's certain quality of life where it's like, yeah, I think I would really enjoy having it in FGO. And there's other quality of life where if I look at it, I go like, while it maybe works for a different game, I'm not sure it would work in FGO. And don't get me wrong, I get it, right? Like, it's just one of those deals where I think with regards to other gacha games, they're designed differently from like the ground up, right? And that's why, like, if you look at like that other box that we were talking about of, hey, here's all these things, that's where some of their quality of life is located. It's for the fact that they have these other like extra things to do, right? And I get it. That's why they kind of have to do it. So they have to solve problems that in a weird way, like FGO doesn't even have. But then in other ways, like, yeah, they've solved problems that FGO has. So it's an interesting thing. That's why, like, again, I've always said this before too. It's like having the competition out there of other gacha games, it's good. It actually helps things. It's one of the reasons why, like, so when Woo-Wah came out, I was absolutely rooting for Woo-Wah to knock Genshin off of its high horse. Why? Because it needs it. Like, literally, at this point, Genshin was so high above like FGO in terms of its player base numbers and stuff like that, that like you basically had people that were out there just glazing it constantly on the internet and like saying like, oh, it's great. And if you ever dared criticize it, oh, you're just like some evil villain. Now that there's competition, now all of a sudden we can have these conversations and it's not just people white knighting everything. I think we can't sweep the issues under the rug because it has different problems than other gachas. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, and that's something I've tried to say is like sometimes, like again, like people be like, oh, I want FGO to have auto, right? And it's like, no, FGO's not made to have auto. It's literally not designed for it, and I think it will just hurt and kill the game if you add it. But if you wanted to talk about could they improve farming? Yeah, now you're on to something. Now there's definitely something we can do here. So I think like a lot of it is like people get really reductive, or they just kind of basically look at like other gacha game and assume that it will work. But they're kind of missing the forest for the trees because it's like, well, what's the issue? Why are you saying this? Well, because I don't like farming. Okay, but if we look at the gameplay loop for FGO, it's farming. It always has been. Whereas, like, for instance, if you go to something like Genshin, it's not farming in the sense that FGO is farming. Because in farming, you farm materials, right? You're just farming materials. You're trying to get your units online. In Genshin, the materials are actually the easiest thing to get because it's an open world. So you just walk right out there and grab whatever materials you need for a unit. And yeah, there may be some cooldown. You maybe have to hop to someone else's world real fast if you're trying to, like, min-max it. But, like, you just get it, right? So the farming in that regard is not hard. Where's the farming in Genshin? Well, it's literally going to be in your gear farm instead. So they just shift where the actual, like, time spent thing is. And then I start to look at it as, like, okay, well, basically we have RNG aspects to the farming over in Genshin that actually make you sometimes have to farm way more. It's not a does it drop, yes or no, like you would have RNG in terms of a normal material farm. It's does it drop, yes or no, and then does it have the stats I want, yes or no. And that extra layer of RNG is really fucking bad. And I think, again, like anyone that plays Genshin will tell you, that is the chief annoyance in that game at this point. And that's just kind of how MiHoYo has designed their systems to be. But it just, again, is just a different focus, basically, compared to FGO. I don't think auto is a bad thing. I think the option is nice to have. Look, I disagree. But the reason I disagree is because if you put auto in FGO, it just kills the game. I don't think anyone will play the game outside of the occasional challenge quest and outside of literally story chapters. And that's it. That's I don't think you would have people logging in coming to streams at all. I think it would just kill everything FGO related outside of like actual chapter releases and stuff like that. I think HSR is a better comparison. Yeah, I agree. I do think HSR is a closer comparison in that regard. It's not 1-to-1, but it's probably as close as you're going to get. Don't know which was the first game that required you to roll weapons. Genshin definitely popularized it, but I think it's been around since like Grand Blue Fantasy, I want to say. At least like as far as I can remember. Rolling units is already hard as is. Weapons being included in rolling is a no for me. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like when I rolled on Girls Front Line 2, there were a couple of units, like for instance, Macchiato, where it's like she's just really good with her weapon. You really want her weapon. So it's not only roll Macchiato, it's also roll the accompanying weapon. So to put this in terms that like FGO players will understand, this is the equivalent of saying a character has a unique craft essence unique to them, kind of like their Bond CE, but imagine instead the Bond CE was somehow like meta and it was like the best possible thing ever, and you never wanted to use anything other than that on them. But it's in a separate gacha. That's the equivalent of how some of the other systems work. I'd rather they not bother with it. Yeah, I mean, I would too. I think if FGO added auto, you would literally shift. Again, they can't. I'm sorry. Like, I can try to humor this mentality, but they literally can't make that change. Because if they make that change, the entire game's ecosystem and economy has to completely change. Entirely. And doing that in year 10 of a game is not smart at all. It will actually just kill whatever population the game already has. It's and put another way, chat, it is close to the equivalent of adding PvP to the game. Like, it's not as bad, but it is up there. What about PvP? Yeah. No, and like I said, I know some people are going to disagree with me on this. It's fine. It's just I'm coming at this from both the player and the developer side of this. I know for a fact that they would have to change every behind the scenes aspect, how rewards are given out, how content is structured. Again, like I said, if you have auto in the game, you now have to start pumping out way different content for the game to keep players playing the game. That's just how it is. It's how every single one of these other games does it. There is none of these games that have auto where you can just auto everything and you're done. They always have to add content that you can't auto. If FGO did the same, I think it would only be better. Is auto a part of that? Who knows? But I know it will. There's things that they listen to the players on, and there's things that they don't in every game. in the case of game development, and I've tried to tell people this before, but there's this concept of knowing when to not listen to your players. And the reason why is because players will literally ask for everything. Always. They want everything. If you give them everything, then your player base literally doesn't have a reason to play the game anymore. Because players will actually min-max themselves out of a game. They will literally say, hey, give me this, hey, give me that, hey, give me this, to the point that the game has no challenge, is not fun anymore, and literally doesn't take any time to complete. So therefore, nobody plays it. So in a weird way, you have to know not to listen to your players, because your players will ask for things that will ruin the enjoyment of the game for themselves. They created Torghast type content. Remind me, because I wasn't around for WoW when Torghast came out, but Torghast was basically procedurally generated type dungeons, right? So you can basically compare that to the Simulacrum in HSR, I think. And you guys would have to tell me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe those two are similar style. Are you going to do a Valentine's video before more LB7? Not tonight. It'll be probably tomorrow. Make our rolls re-rollable? Yeah. No, but it's the truth, right? Like, players will always ask for more. They always will. Like, so for instance, chat. For instance, what if the developers came in and said, hey, we're going to make it easier for you guys to get the 4 stars in the gacha? Well, depending on the community, they may say it's not good enough still. And we know this because, again, they have actually tweaked the rates twice on us now. And I think most of the community still feels like the 4-star rate is not fair. And that's fine, right? Like, that's one of those where it's like, looking at it objectively, I agree with the community on that one. I think the community is absolutely right. The 4-star rate needs some sort of adjustment still. But let's say they give it to us. So you give the community what they want. What's next? Because the community's not going to stop asking for things. You've given them something that they want. So what do they ask for next? Well, now they ask for lower pity. What if you give them that? I don't know. Now they ask for more currency. What if you give them that? Now they ask for, like, guaranteed rolls? What if you give them that? Like, and this is why I keep saying, like, it's basically just a moving goalpost. You'll never actually appease them completely. You can't please everyone. So there's a point where you have to say, all right, like, do you go all the way to this length, or do you just realize this is the problem? And, like, the rest of these are more just minor inconveniences, or things that, like, literally your fans are complaining about just to get an egg and a, like, leg up on you, right? Like, that's one of those deals where it's like, it is what it is, but developers have to decide for themselves where the line is. I've lost faith in the devs as a whole. I'm going to say this. I definitely don't have the faith that I used to have in the developers. But I think a lot of that is because, one, the track record, and two, it's pretty clear, I think, to any of us that have covered the game for a long time, that the developers are not... they're not having an easy time of it. They're definitely having problems wherever you look, be it delays, lack of content being pumped out, or, again, bugs and problems, right? Pretty much every single thing that we look at, we can kind of see a sign of, like, some wear and tear, some, like, strain, where it's like, yeah, they're just, it feels like they're trying to, like, keep everything glued together with hot glue and bubble gum, right? Like, and maybe some tape. So it's like it's interesting, but that's where, like, yeah, until they start to show signs of like that sort of stuff improving, which I'm gonna say this, over the last year they did improve. They actually got way better compared to the prior year. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but they did absolutely lose a lot of faith for me in those like years that they absolutely just downslid and stopped producing as much content. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. This is probably one of my hottest takes. I don't think the changeover from Delightworks to Aniplex is a net positive anymore. I think when it first happened, everyone was super excited. Everyone was like, heck yeah, man. Like we can only go up from here. Man, they're going to get rid of all these bottlenecks. The game's going to get like some improved systems and stuff. It's going to get better. I think looking back now, historically over time, I can say that if anything, the game got worse, not better. We did get certain really nice things like pity, but we also found out from developer interviews that certain things that we did get were actually already in the works well before that changeover. And it was one of those deals where apparently the changeover let it happen, but not in the sense that Delightworks was disallowing it, just in the sense that they finally got out some of that red tape that had been kind of keeping it stalled. So it is what it is. Pandemic hit hard, I believe. Pandemic, Sakura Wars, and just, I think, a very weird labor situation in Japan caused a whole bunch of crap for them. So it's like, I don't think you can point to any one thing and say it's like, it's that. I think it's just a confluence of factors of just everything kind of converging. It somehow feels like a very Japanese company problem. It is. It absolutely is. Yeah, I think Sakura Wars hurt them so bad in the end. It's one of those where it's like, I think they wish they could have that back. The potential meddling from other people, like how they pushed a Pen 5 without a fix. I mean, we don't know whether or not that was a thing, right? We can hypothesize. For instance, the current community theory that I've seen really, or at least maybe you could call it a conspiracy theory at this point, because I don't really know. But like, basically the thing that I see a lot of people echo is that like, oh, well, Mr. 2 clearly didn't like it. And so therefore it must have been like Aniplex or Sony that were actually pushing for a Pen 5 before a fix. That may be the case. Like there are at least some things, if you believe that like Mr. 2 really was like seemingly remorseful and like apprehensive about making the announcement and stuff like that, maybe that's true. But it also might be true that it just may be that they wanted to make some more money. And Mr. 2 may have just straight up been in on it. So it's like, I don't know. It's tough to say, right? Without anybody coming forward and saying anything about it, I don't think we'll know. We have Mr. 2's public apologies, but he's also the head of the company. I'm really going to be interested to hear from them at the Annie 10 interview, because you know they have to talk about that situation, and you know it's going to come up. And it's going to be one of those deals where it's like, I really want to hear what happened. I really want to hear why they thought that was a good thing. Because the interview is going to ask. Like, you know, that interviewer is based as all hell. So he's going to ask, and literally Mr. 2 is going to have to come up with some PR stuff. But that's fine. Either way, I just want that explanation. And I think this is one of the things that FGO is absolutely the worst on. If I can shit on FGO on anything, their communication is the worst in the business. And, you know, again, I could say, prove me wrong. Someone will probably come up with a worse one. But at least of like all the major gotchas, I feel like FGO's communication with its community is just god awful. And it's not a fault necessary of like Mr. 2. It's just feels like they're like marketing and their like promotional department just don't do jack shit, which I think is an Aniplex problem, because that's just how Aniplex always seems to be. But good lord, yeah, it feels like it's just always been bad in this game. Sorry if I came off heated. No, it's all good. Like I said, I can debate people till the cows come home, and I can absolutely disagree with people and just move on. It doesn't bother me. Like, usually the only thing that'll bother me is if people start getting like personal with it. Gotcha Games has never been that great with communication, but yeah, it sucks. I think there are games that do it better than others. But yeah, I think this is just a mentality. And part of that, so to agree with you for a second here, Peanut, part of that is because gotcha games fucking love FOMO, right? So like, they don't want to talk to you a lot. They don't want to tell you about shit that's upcoming. Every other video game developer is like, yo, check out our new update with all of our new flashy things that's coming. Please play our game. Gotcha games are like, we will tell you nothing and you will like it. Because the second the second you have an idea, you might decide not to roll for it. So instead, you know, at best, you might get the name and a picture, but you're not getting any details on the actual character. We're not going to tell you anything so that you just drool over the character instead, and we tell you nothing otherwise. I really feel way more energized about it now. I mean, honestly, chat, you're through the worst of it. I actually mean that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, year 8 and year 9 of the game are not great. But NA is already through year 7. And year 7 was fucking bad. Okay, like, year 9 was kind of bad too. Year 8 was kind of bad too. But NA does a great job of smoothing things. So like, as you get like stuff coming to NA, they massage the schedule and kind of make it work. Whereas like JP, oh my god, dude, sometimes on JP it feels like it takes forever to get things. So it just is the way it is. But like, I think that's also clairvoyance, helps people know what to wait for and what to be anticipatory towards. So I also think there's a psychology factor there on that, as opposed to like JP, you don't know what's coming, and at best you can theory craft about what might be, but inevitably all you're doing is getting your hopes up, because your hopes are inevitably going to be higher than what actually comes into the game, and therefore you end up disappointing yourself the more you like look into it and think about it. So it's just one of those weird deals where I think like JP gaslights itself sometimes into like, oh my god, like I can't wait for this next thing, and then it's like kind of not that big of a deal sometimes. So it is what it is. But yeah, I do think like NA just has that benefit of being able to sit back and knowing what's coming, whereas JP's just like always wondering what's coming. So that mentality ends up like really changing the way the community interacts. Prevents people from being stupid and greedy. Yeah, and that's exactly why Albert hates it. I think that like that's one of the problems, and that's why they change things. Insert JP as the beta server joke here. Like I said, I don't really care. I like playing both servers, and I don't really have a problem with it. But JP, like the way that is, yeah, you have to be a little bit different with how you like save and stuff like that. You have to be very cautious because you never know what could be around the corner. And so I don't know. Like, at least within a, you have that benefit, you know, you can plan around it. And the worst the devs can do is they can try to shift a banner on you, but you still know when you'll be getting the banners usually. Like with 99% certainty, you're pretty much like you're gonna get things as they were. To be honest, I'm only excited about Anniversary in summer. Oh, a lot of people are excited for the arcade collab, but it'd be what it'd be. Even without clairvoyance, I still think I'd be fine as an FGO player. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, like, the longer you play the game, the easier it gets. And this is true of any gacha game, because it's like, you have more units, and the more units you have, the more, like, insulated you are from, like, oh man, they've done this new thing. What do? I don't have a unit that can take it on. Instead, it's like, well, you have a unit that can take it on, it just may not be the best unit. So it's like, again, the more you play, the more veteran you get, and the more easily adaptable you become. And so because of that, that removes that need, that desire to have to roll like every single unit. He's an active JP player. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have any ill will towards Albert, but I really hate their marketing strategy for NA. They need to lean into it more and start like saying like, yeah, we're clairvoyant. Here's what's coming up. And it's like, I get that they don't want to spoil, but at least like start promoting the game, because that would actually help the game. So it's like, you know, the example I give people all the time is like, imagine if like back when LB4 was coming out, instead they were like, hey, are you ready for our Juna altar? And like started like really like pushing that and like running advertisements and stuff for it. You would have just done so much better. You would have gotten more people to roll. It's how they easily can like build hype and actually cash in on it. But instead they try to be like, oh, no, we don't know what's coming. Oh man, gee, I wonder what the next unit's gonna be. It's like, everyone knows. It's stupid. And then you actually get to the unveiling stream and they end up showing you bits from the story that are potentially spoiler. And you're like, God, this is so ass backwards, basically. It just makes them look foolish. It really does. And they know it, right? Like, I don't think they want to do it really either. It's just, I think that's the marching orders either from Japan or just like, they're not allowed to talk about it, right? Like, and that's they're just kind of caught in between a rock and a hard place. But like I said, I think that's something that they should try to take as feedback and like report up to their higher ups, like in Japan, and say, hey, look, what if we did things this way, and like actually put forth a proposal? Because I gotta be honest, I feel like every single Aniplex of America person that works in marketing for FGONA should be fired. And I'm not saying this because I like hate them or have some grudge. I'm saying this because it is such a terribly promoted game that makes millions of dollars, even on the NA side. And it's like, it's wild to me that they don't promote it more, because it feels like there's just so much more they could make out of the like global/NA server. So the fact that they just don't do it is like, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess you can assume that the IP will carry it, but God, it's not going to carry it that much further. I think you could showcase a unit without spoiling a story. Yeah, exactly. So it's really funny because, and I've talked about this before too, because they put out these now like, hey, we've got this unit, and they kind of do like a little bit of a unit showcase. I think they need to focus way more on like the unit's animations, because they try to like describe here's how to use the unit, but it's so pedestrian and rudimentary that it's nothing that you couldn't learn just from seeing the unit in game already. And to me, at that point, it's kind of pointless. Yeah, I'd like FGO account sync and stuff like that. I think that's probably one of my big ones at this point. Because I've talked about that, and like just as a content creator, that's so much more valuable to me to have the ability to play on multiple devices. So it's definitely a pet peeve of mine at this point. In game, mind you, not even in the wiki. Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like we already know that the in-game, like when you read a skill, it doesn't tell you anything about the values or the percentages, and it's like that is what that is. That's a problem in its own. But if you can learn more from reading the in-game text compared to the video that they made, that's kind of like a servant guide. Why the fuck are you making the video at that point? I'm sorry. Someone got shot. It's just because he like put a period in between two words that he put together and it made it think it was a link. Count transfer file, yeah. I wouldn't really get use out of account sync, but I could see it being nice for some. Yeah, I mean, let me put it to you this way. You hope to not get use out of it. What do I mean? Well, chat, wouldn't you like an account binding feature so that if you ever drop your phone to the bottom of a lake, or it gets run over by a car, or it literally gets destroyed in some way, shape, or form, you're safe. And you don't have to rely on a transfer code that may or may not work. Yeah. Yeah. I think they should do that. I think they should get the fuck away from transfer codes. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I think the transfer code system works, quote unquote, but I can flat out tell you, out of all the issues anyone can have with FGO, the number one guaranteeable way to get a player to quit FGO is if they lose their account. You shouldn't be able to lose your account. Why is that even a thing? Do you know how many players FGO has lost over the years due to that? Like, it's wild to me that that's been a thing. I almost lost my account and I was going to quit. Yep. Like I said, I completely understand. It's so demoralizing. All this time and potentially money that you have spent, all this effort that you have spent on this account, if you were to lose it right now today, like, good lord, right? I'm not going to say every single one of you would quit, but I think it would be a high percentile of you. I'd think more than 50% of you would probably quit if you lost your account. And I don't blame you, right? Like I've said, straight up, no one should have to go through that. So it's wild, because what it does is it basically puts the burden on the player to say, hey, look, shit happened and now I lost it and it's my fault because you won't like give me an account restore or something like that. So it just is what it is. If I lost either, I'd quit both. Yeah, that's fine. Having to use transfer code is primitive at this point. Like I said, it's a solution. It's just a very crappy solution. I might be playing my JP account and finding level stuff. Yeah. But no, that's why I say it. So it's like, and I'm not trying to like make all of you think about this super hard so much as I'm just trying to point out that this is a problem. It's always been a problem, and it's a problem that they absolutely must address one way or the other. And this is really funny because it basically has been addressed on JP. Only NA hasn't addressed it at this point. Korea has it. China has it. I'm not sure if Taiwan has some form of it. But I know, again, US doesn't have it. So at this point, we're pretty much odd man out. Just show your receipt and get your account back. So that's an interesting point that you make. Sometimes that works. It does not always work. I've seen people say that and then not get their account back. So why don't we have it? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe Aniplex of America has to set it up and like do all of it, and they haven't gotten around to it. But like I said, literally with every single day, you got to think about how many people play this game, and any gacha game in that, for that matter, right? Like every single day, somebody loses their account. Someone. So that is just like attrition that you can completely stop. Completely. Like, that is money that you are just losing on a daily basis. I don't understand why they don't prevent it, right? If I could multi-device, I would have a tablet and Heartbeat. Yeah, it's the same thing with me. I'd have it on my laptop, I'd have it here, I'd have it on my phones, you name it. So, like I said, I would absolutely prefer to have it on multiple devices and to have account binding. Well, and it's just a redirect page to the other stores. Yeah. Like I said, I assume it's probably an Aniplex of America issue, and they have like work that they have to do, both setting up some sort of portal as well as like hey, maybe redesigning or moving their storefront. So it is what it is, but I don't really care. it's to me, it's a valid criticism until the day they implement it, and it always will be. It will always be easy pickings to talk about. Do you think we could get that? I think you will eventually, Pip, but I think that's probably what the holdup is they're setting all of that up. PC client of FGO would be nice too. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. Court's purchase system needs to be adapted to US regulations. So this is really funny because quite literally, so they just passed a law about like loot boxes and stuff here in the US. But all it is with age restrictions. So like, oh, you mean the same thing that JP's been doing for years? They really don't have to do too much to set it up for US standards. At this point, I'm assuming we get it on NA Annie this year. Maybe, yeah. It would be an easy like announcement to kind of make, to be like, hey, look, we did a thing, right? About damn time, just port it over easy. Well, see, that's, I think, the issue is everybody assumes it's easy, and it's probably not that easy. It's probably something that's like, I don't know, like way more involved than we realize. But I don't care. Like I said, get it done. Should have been done yesterday. Should have been done years ago. So, as far as I'm concerned, they don't get any sympathy from me for however long it takes. It's just do it. Just do it now. Look how it is the management of Princess Connect. I wouldn't assume that like anything involving Princess Connect or Madoka will happen the way that it does for FGO. And the reason at minimum is because Type Moon's involved. And there is not a chance in hell that Type Moon would let all of this work, all of this story, just get flushed down the toilet with an EOS. Not a chance in hell. So don't ever assume that FGO will be treated like any of those other options. Yeah, it's like Crunchyroll is stupid, Aniplex is stupid, Type Moon won't let them be. And allow me, that's not to say the game is ending, just in case anyone's thinking I'm being doomer. The game is not ending. Like I said, there's already been numerous signs of that being the case. Keep sabotaging their account linking team and eating their casseroles? Maybe. Anyways, chat. We gotta do 7.2. I'm getting stun locked by you guys with interesting conversations again. This keeps happening to me, but it is what it is. Also, if you didn't see it there, Advanced Quest Part 13's been out. But anyways, we're gonna continue. We're in chapter 18. We just got done with a very persnickety fight. It was definitely one of the hardest ones in the entire Lost Belt. So we're going to be continuing on. But you guys know you guys can always read along with me if I catch up to you. But most of you are probably done anyways. And this is Saberface only. If you've never been to any of these challenges, I can only use people with the Saberface trait. The only exception is Arthur at the moment. I may make an exception later for Takeru, but literally just Arthur at the moment. For some odd reason, Arthur does not have the Saberface trait, which is always hilarious to me the more you think about it. But the only other thing is that sometimes fights require me to take a story support. That also does not invalidate the challenge. Because again, if it did, then you couldn't do anything in any of the singularities because every single singularity has a force support fight. So let's continue. Oh, this reminds me, I need to open my what was it? My handy dandy. Oh, it broke the capture card. Hold on, chat. Is it gonna work? Unplugged simulator? Yeah, it happens. Oh, so we finally made it down to the bottom tier. See, this is really interesting because Lost Belt 6 had a very like weird rating and score because its Lost Belt tree was basically dead. And this one doesn't. This one's normal and in line. So I find that really interesting. So we're going to find out why that is here. Something other than the tree of emptiness keeping it around. I was gonna say, it's probably all the cosmic rays. I like how just because they made it, it's somehow stronger than anything modern humanity can make. It's been 14 hours since we left Chicken Pizza. Yeah, let's see if we can get a status update. Uh-oh! Oh, shit. Well, chat, it's a shame Kadak had to die. A real shame. Actually, no, it's a shame that we lose Gordoff if that's the case. Yeah, Gordoff is the real loss. Yes, our Daybit and Tezcat Lapoka in the room with us now. They may have passed us during this time. It seems unlikely because, again, like all that time we spent fighting Camazotz is like, he probably would have said something because he would have known. Yeah, we literally just have to keep going. By the way, I find it really interesting because this looks like Solomon Temple of Time. Like, just the background, I know she's kind of blocking it, but you have, like, the steps kind of leading up to the, like, central thing right behind her fucking head. And I think that's straight up on purpose. How'd the fight go? We had to scuff the fight a couple of times, but we did complete it first try. We're before David and cutting down the tree of emptiness. Yeah, I like how nobody's like paying any attention to Olga and what she might be up to at the moment. Especially because at this point we should know that she's kind of gotten over that amnesia. Like, even if she hasn't fully recovered, she at least has indicated that she knows who she is at this point and what her goal is. So you need to assume that she probably is still going to try to go after Ort. And that's without the other scenes of her indicating that. She's still Olga? Well, yeah. Wait, what? The end of the world isn't anyone's fault. No, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure there's like a singular individual that we can point to and say, you did this. if it comes to pass, right? Did she ever apologize to Whack-Chan? No. someone were to push the wind aside so they could run up and kick the rod away. Yeah, so literally, that is our current situation. That person running up to kick the rod right now is Daybit. Or Tez, depending on how you want to look at it. The only thing that can kill the world is the world itself. The only way to break the world is if the world itself is on your side. Oh, fuck. That is a loaded line. So, this line, like, kind of doesn't really matter. It's just him kind of waxing philosophic. But this line has some connotations. This line is monkum. The good reason, allies, and destiny. Did we explain the counterforce to Tepeo? Because otherwise, how the fuck does he know about it? Please start with Whackchat! Fortunately, it doesn't look like anything's changed. So, and this is interesting because we got the command seals back because we literally got them back from Camazotz. But the whole reason we can't use them is because of our trial from Tezcatlipoca. And if you remember, he basically said earlier when we were fighting him in Chicken Pizza, he was like, hey, yeah, I guess you just gave up on your trial then. So it doesn't matter if I kill you now. So we got to defeat Tez to get them back. Oh shit, the trees. The trees are speaking dinos. Well, we are near a tree of emptiness. Suddenly wyverns, suddenly seeds. Okay, so it looks like I can choose whatever the heck I want. Which means a Saberface. And we're gonna pop one of those. This is definitely a multi-fight. So the safest way to do this is that. And then that's And then that's... And then... I mean, this is risky, but... Man, do I go for the AoE or the single target? If I have to backline, I think we go with the single target at that point. And then the next question is, do I need Invuln Pierce? I think it's safer if I do. We go for power there, an NP there, and that there. Saw these things, hey and Kyo. I think because yeah, there really wasn't one in LB6. Might want to change this. Actually have not advanced my Mystic Code very much. That's because, again, I've been making a lot of blue apples. $18, so I got a 3-turn with this crap. Okay. I think the other question is, do they backfill? Okay. I don't know what that was. I guess I bumped my capture card. They've been Indian lost build. This tree is invisible in China. Wasn't it 5? I like how they dance to the music. Why are they full charge? Oh no, I should have read what that does. Please don't give them a turn. Oh shit, they're gonna get a turn. This could get bad. Come on, game. You did 3 out of 3 to 1 unit. Carpet bombing? Yeah, do be feeling that way. It's not like I need a ton of damage. I just need to survive. I also hate how they individually have to die. Yes, there is an 80k one for some odd reason. That was funny in this fight? Oh, I'm sure. 6 enemy waves with Bazette, especially if you have like a turn-based defense for her. Bro, you're just gonna annihilate enemies. Okay, that's actually fine. Don't have any sub members left to switch to. She's buff blocked anyways. Oh man, I gotta remember how this works. We have stars anyways. Doesn't really matter. Fucking buff block. Mighty chain it. Please go to the right one. I mean, it should. Within reason, it should go to the 80k one next. But where it goes to next in a, like, 6 slot is somewhat, like, weird. See? See what I mean? Look at that shit. She killed it anyways, thank God. But, like... I don't freaking understand how the progression works in a 6 enemy wave sometimes. It is wild that it went to that bottom left one. I could have just actually hard targeted it with the NP though and used one of MHX's cards, but that was just stupid. All right, 0 AP once more into the abyss. Who works the least useful way for the player? Pretty much. Oh, great. They're angry. We end up in a nest of scorpions? Ah, so this is us. Kalakmul. As powerful as supercomputers, and they don't even fucking use them. A world of peace and regression shrouded in thick fog. Yeah, poisonous gas. In the beginning, the world contained a tree. I'm sure it did. See, now this is interesting, though, because my understanding of the Lost Belts is that Lost Belts are supposed to go by way of, like, essentially you have, like, proper human history. And then the Lost Belt is a splinter from proper human history that gets pruned. And then literally the continuance of that is where the tree comes in. The tree is not supposed to be here at the origin point. It's supposed to be at the pruning point. The point at which literally everything was supposed to have died and gotten erased. That's where the tree is supposed to be. Because it's what's continuing the presence. But there's also these like things of like, oh, it quote unquote rewrote the rules. Like it rewrote history. So it could be a case of, well, it did come in here. Everybody thinks it came in here because it literally just changed history, aka like everybody moving on from this point on doesn't remember any of this other than what the tree wants them to remember. This is the con, not the Lost Belt beginning. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it stands to reason that this is probably the Lost Belt tree. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that is the working theory I'm going with. The tree connected the land to the sky and beyond to outer space. Outer space summoned a star. So a meteor. The star was shattered to pieces and the world set ablaze. So this is the formative event they were talking about where like the meteor came early and just destroyed everything. Which is how we got the Mala. This brought about an age of gentle reptiles. Wait, so this is actually super interesting now. So in the beginning, the world contained a tree. The tree connected the land to the sky and beyond to outer space. Once connected, outer space summoned a star. Interesting. Okay. So maybe that means that the tree still is the point at which it would have been pruned. And that's as far back as they can remember is to the tree. Till a second star was summoned, a terminus star. Became a miniature sun. So the Mala are the sun. So the Mala are cuckoo. Which makes sense. We already pretty much had it hinted at, but... yeah, this makes sense. So literally, because again, they've talked about how the changing of everything. So you still have the proper human history timeline, but quite literally, the genesis point to the Lost Belt is shit came early, and what came early is the Lost Belt tree. Okay, and then also coming early was the meteor with Ort, aka Mort. Right? And that's basically what was supposed to end the timeline, aka the meteor with the Ort happened here in proper human history, but it happened a little bit earlier in Lost Belt. And that's kind of where we are at. So that's interesting. No, Mala came early, so did Ort. That's not disagreeing with what I said. That's exactly what I said. Wasn't Ort the first impact in proper human history? In theory, yeah. Like, they talked about how there were multiple extinction events, so in theory, one of the prior ones could have been another meteor, but yeah, it makes sense that that's what it was. I think they talked about the extinction events, I just don't remember which one they said each one was. I'm pretty sure Ort came at the same time in both histories. No, they've indicated it's early in both cases. Both meteors arrived early. Ort went on to destroy the sun, nearly driving Mictlan to ruin. Hang on. Wouldn't that mean... Yeah, come on, say it. Say it, senpai! The order of events is the opposite of what we thought. Ort doesn't emerge until after the sun has gone dark. But then that would mean... Aw, damn, we're getting the song. Ort didn't destroy the sun. It went out before that. I'm just thinking over possibilities here. But then that basically means that either the sun is the catalyst for Ort, or that there's a connection there that we haven't realized. It was just the sun's time. After 60 million years. They never received the Mala's protection. From the moment of their conception, the sun had forsaken them. Geothermal heat. So, Mictlan must have gotten colder without the sun. What's up, TK? Wait, like, hold on. This isn't obvious? Like, of course the Danos didn't. They've been spending the entire time telling you, we don't give a shit if the world ends. Of course they didn't fucking help. Like, and this is also why Camazotz hates them. This is like blatantly obvious to me. I'm surprised it needed to be stated. It's been straight in your face the entire Lost Belt. I think the more appropriate is not this, it's this, that the Mala didn't help with Ort. And that makes sense seemingly. But given what they've already said, so you literally have the generative event with the Mala, right? And then you have Ort arriving, and they both arrive onto stars. It stands to reason that the Mala are the reason that Ort is here. For one way or the other. Either Ort's here to fucking kill him, or they summoned Ort. One way or the other. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, I think this is something where it's like this wasn't apparent at first, but there were signs indicating this, and it makes perfect sense to me now. Also, chat, remember some of you are done with the story. I'm not. Please don't confirm certain things. The sun returned again. See, that's more interesting. Because the Mala did summon Ort, and humanity defeats Ort. The Mala just go, well, fuck it, and fire up the sun again. Unless the Mala were trying to get rid of humanity? In the 100,000 years the sun was absent. Yeah, so quite literally, like, it probably got too hot for humanity at that point. Well, actually, no, it didn't matter. We know what happened to humanity. They all sacrificed themselves to become part of Camazotz. So it literally didn't matter. Like, you had no excuse for what we did to his people's legacy. I mean, I don't really think that Dinos like shat on his legacy at all. When the king tore open the terminus star, it became the space tree's seedling. So is that Camazotz that they're referring to as the king? And the space tree's star, wait, the terminus star is literally Ort. So he mentioned him prying Ort apart. So that means interesting. Do not touch the star's body, for it has become the foundation of Mictlan itself. The terminus star is now nothing less than the seedling of emptiness. So the only thing I don't like about this is this. This is kind of a plot hole. Because... hear me out, chat. Okay. So, Ort goes down the hole. Literally, the meteor goes straight into Mictlan, falls to the bottommost tier where this place hall is. If anything, this place should be destroyed. But doubly so, who made the mural? Ask yourself that question. This is actually a plot hole. Who made the mural? Camazotz? It'd have to be Camazotz. So Camazotz made a mural about himself, referring to himself in the third person? I mean, maybe. I guess it's possible, but I doubt that given Camazotz. So, like, he's literally the only person who could have. But this indicates that it's the mural from, like, before that was made by the crafters. But every single person down to the last man sacrificed himself to become part of Camazotz. So, nobody can have made this mural other than, like, a Dinos. So, yeah, this is an actual plot hole. And, like I said, it doesn't ruin the story or anything, but it would have been better if, like, the mural didn't say this and this was just general knowledge that, like, Tepeo or the Danos, like, knew and passed on somehow. Or, like, this was written somewhere else. Like, because, one, nobody can have been alive to have created this. And two, it's also at the bottom of the fucking pit where the meteor fell, so it all should have been destroyed at minimum. And nobody would have been around to have lived to have made the mural from this point. So, yeah, you know, that actually would be a good thing, TK. If they had indicated that instead this mural was a prophecy, I would have been accepting of that. That would have been a convenient bullshit out, but it would have made sense. But they didn't say that yet so far, so like I said, it is what it is. It's the writer has to give you the info somehow, but that is a actual, like, problem with the narrative. Wait, why Camazotz himself could not have made it? Ask yourself if Camazotz would sit down and paint a fucking mural. Just ask yourself that question. Do you think that character is capable of artistic expression other than ripping people's heads off? He had the time. He did have the time. He had none of the capability or temperament. Absolutely not. Chat, I'm sorry. If you think Camazotz made this mural, I laugh at you. Yeah, he absolutely would not have fucking cared to make it. But either way, like I said, that's absolute cope. That's absolute, like, covering for a plot hole. It is a plot hole. You can say what you want. It is a plot hole. So, unless, again, like, there's a line right after this that's like, oh, this part was a prophecy. So do not touch the star's body, for it has become the foundation of Mictlan itself. Which is interesting as well, because it's like, why do you need that warning if everyone's dead? The Terminus Star is now nothing less than the seedling of emptiness. Well, we know trees of emptiness, so this is literally the seedling for the tree, right? If the Terminus Star became the space tree, does that mean Ort fused with the tree of emptiness? Ort is a tree. Which, to be fair, I called this because, like, way back, one of my predictions was that Ort ate the tree. So, not quite the same deal, but if he actually did, like, combine with the tree somehow, it's pretty much the same damn thing. Because we've seen them do, like going all the way back to, like, LB3. Like, they've done some weird stuff with some of the trees to try and kind of hide them or make them not as obvious. Or maybe the people themselves used the tree to finish Ord off. That's an interesting idea. Ord and the Tree of Emptiness are fused together. That explains what happened to the Tree of Emptiness outside. The tree itself may be dead, but it lives on in a different form. We've gone back to the one we started with. Yeah, so we got to chop down the Tree of Emptiness, aka kill Ort. Sort of was planning to absorb the tree in LB2 too. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good call out right there. This is a boss fight, isn't it? Oh, god damn it. Hold on, chat. Sorry. This happens. I know where this is. Chat, it's... And this is perfect with Nito Chris here. It's Ozzy's MP. Look at it. It's literally the MP for Ozzy. My god, it's the two pyramids coming together. Is that a sea of actual fire? Oh, bro, this is nothing. Clearly, they've never played Dark Souls. Wait till they see the Sea of Scarlet Rot. Ceiling of yet another underground cavern. Now I see. Gordolf did say it was every gentleman's dream to own a house with a yard pool and picket fence. I'll be sure to let Kiyohime know. The ninth stratum we saw earlier is as far as Mala's power reaches. Earth's natural geological formation. I mean, it's probably like, if this is the hole for Mictlan, and this is the ninth stratum, then this is like the divot left by the fucking meteor as it came in. Not as solid as it was usually be, because there's something beneath the pyramid-shaped temple. The temple might be an elevator? No. Well, yeah, just because there's a shaft that leads further down doesn't mean it's an elevator, though. It just means it's a hole. Also, I just want to go ahead and call this before, like, we even get down there. So that chat knows that I've already thought of this, and even at this point of me mentioning it, I've already thought of it way before now. Literally all of our enemies are just waiting on us to trigger Ort. This is a Chaldea is playing right into their hands moment. Kind of obvious, yeah. It's almost like, we haven't met any resistance along the way. Wonder why? The footholds in the walls to climb down to that bridge. Okay. Hey, you guys want to climb down like a sheer cliff face over lava? Sounds like a great time, right? I'm looking forward to climbing back up. It's Tezcatlipoca. Bro, can we please kick this man into the lava? I am so tired of his face. She got knocked all the way down here, huh? Just trying to think of who the she is. Is it Tlaloc? I mean, there's Tlaloc, Koyan, and Cuckoo that are not with us. Okay, it's Tlaloc. Damn! Also, how did she get conveniently knocked all the way down here? Like, what? From Camazot's talons. Oh, this is also where his Kali was summoned then. Did he Kitsune? I didn't remember that. I mean, but still, like, the actual logistics of that's kind of wild. For humans. Like, because she's just smoking at this point. Like, wait, no, like, I totally kicked your ass. You just narratively had something intervene. I wish this were true in game. Damn, she's about to walk like an Egyptian. Oh shit. Not a divine spirit. We both know that. See, this is interesting. As both Tlaloc, the god of rain, and Hutzpah, the god of war, like, this is interesting because she's not saying that she's an incarnation of them or a representative of them. She is claiming to be them. But now Nitocris is saying you're not a divine spirit. But even I know your true name. Tenochtitlan. Okay, so she is claiming she's an incarnation. Damn, she doing it again. God damn. God damn. Slay Queen. Tenochtitlan. So, and this is why I have to bring this up. Chat. There was a point about a month ago where I called her a city because that is the meme on the JP server. Is that she's a city. And somebody in chat tried to say, hey, Cad, that's a spoiler. They're right. It was a spoiler. However, it was only a spoiler if you already knew the spoiler. So it was literally the person outing themselves as knowing the spoiler and claiming it to be a spoiler. If I just called her a city, y'all would have had no fucking clue what I was talking about unless you already knew the spoiler. So it was one of those where it was like, if you don't, it's not. Exactly. You would know if you've seen the NP though. Maybe. But even then, that doesn't necessarily tell you anything, right? It's just the name. Do you even know what Tenochtitlan is? See, I knew, but I knew from all the way back in the day playing Age of Empires what this name was. This is one of the like few names and actual like Aztec and stuff that I actually do know. So yeah, it's one of those deals where it's like you would have just seen it and you would have thought, oh, that's gibberish. Like, I wouldn't have placed together that she was a city. Yeah. The MP only really tells you she has a mecha. Exactly. How could a city become a you bitch? It's like she was gonna continue to gaslight and didn't even herself realize. Also, really funny that you can see that her name is getting like censored out as her name, her spirit origin itself is transforming. So chat, this is really interesting. She's a pretender. Think about that. What does a pretender mean? If you're a pretender, and this is the like official lore, okay? The official lore for pretenders is that you have to believe the lie that you are selling so much that you yourself believe it, right? Like literally, it's you yourself don't even realize what you are at that point. So I'm not sure who made her a pretender. I'm not sure if this is like Tez is doing or something like that as a means of hiding what her origin was, but it's really freaking interesting. Because it's like, quite literally, she's going on and like, what do you mean? I'm a god. I'm not a city. And then like right here at this point, it triggers. She realizes. Yeah, so she literally called it my underworld because this is her underworld now. She owns it per her deal with Kamazoths. Yeah, it's you believe the lie so much it becomes the truth. Sorry, that's the proper way to say it. Technically, all of this is still that underworld. We just crossed the border to it. Tenochtitlan. But yeah, like I said, like as far as spoiler names go, that's one of the least spoilery names in the game. Because, like, okay, how many people know that Mexico City used to be known as Tenochtitlan? Right? Like, I'm not gonna say like people don't know. There are people that know, but like it's not as obvious. And even if you know what it means, you might just be like, she's named after a city? That's weird. Like, you're not gonna like register that necessarily. I know, I'll use shisha. No. Okay, so this is, I love how it's like question mark. And so honestly, I kind of hate that this is question mark. Because to me, now, she shouldn't be a pretender. She's realized what she is. She now shouldn't be a pretender anymore. But it is what it is. So, but yeah, this is a pretender fight. And it looks like I want Forana or Bazaka. I see I'm stuck with Nito. Let me actually see if there's a Castoria with Prisma. Thank you, Bob. And then we're gonna probably go with that. Yeah, because Foreigner is actually the hard counter at this point. Move that right there. Gonna move that right there. Where's my Prisma? There's my Prisma. No denotable effects, so we're just gonna go with that. Probably that. I'll probably give her a K-scope. And the reason I give Bride a K-scope a lot of the time is just in case I need the NP, because Bride actually has defense down on her NP. So it can be a good setup NP sometimes. We actually have room for another, so I think so. I could go Mixa because she's another Saberface foreigner, but I think it's probably just safer to just backline a K-scoped MHXA in case I need it. Wait, oh shit, chat, does she still have the stupid... No, she shouldn't. She shouldn't have the stupid wave effect anymore, right? No waves, yeah, I was gonna say, because she should have lost that now that she realized she's not a god. So that one's not as obvious, but it'd be what it'd be. Can I move Nito? Let's see. Oh, I can. Sweet. Blup, 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 blup. So we move Nito to the back. I'll only use her if I have to. And then we should be... no, we don't want that. I'm just debating order here for plug suiting. By the way, 4 days left on any teapots you guys have. That's a Tlaloc only effect, yeah. I just was sitting there and I was like, wait, does she have it? Because if she does, I need to do something about it. But I was like, I just don't remember. Increase damage taken, increase MP charge by 1 each turn, increase quick arts resistance, and decrease buster resistance. Oh, fuck you. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a little bit interesting. Mostly because I'm not really sure if she's going to like instant bar break me. So we're just going to go ahead and go with the stun. And I think I'll just try to double NP here. We'll see how much firepower I can get out of single Castoria buff. And then we'll go all out with the final wave we can. I was waiting for your reaction to that. Yeah. Who could be fun here? Probably. Oh god, that dealt like nothing. Well, let's hope we bar break. Okay, that bar broke. That's a slight variance in damage between the two NPs. You know, one was an entire order of magnitude bigger. Well, we do have a Buster Foreigner. We have Mysterious Heroine X Alter Summer. And you know what, chat? When in Rome, do as the Romans. I don't have to do this. I want to do this. This is what she gets for bodying Nito earlier. We're gonna let Nito just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. It is funny though, it's like, she's more powerful than ever before! It's actually the easiest version of the fight. Easy. Calm, cool, 1 mil. I brought my own Nito to bring the pain. Fair and appropriate. All right, at least we got 39 of those now. Oh, I thought it was gonna break it. It didn't. Can I just state, chat? I fucking love this cape design. Look at this shit. Look at this. This just, like, regardless of whether or not I find Nito Alter hot, this is just such a cool looking design to me. The color scheme and what they did with it, it really is. It's one of the coolest designs in the game to me. Your walls are shattered. It's over, Tenochtitlan. I have the high ground. Uh-oh. No, she's not Jeffrey Dahmer. She's not going to tear out your heart. Bro, I don't like that second line. I don't like that second line at all. I swear to God, if they permanently delete Nito from the story, I'm gonna scream at Nasu. Alterization is a form of rebirth that can only be done in the underworld. So, and this goes back to what I was saying before. I want everyone to realize that this isn't like alter lore. At least not in the way like you think of it, right? Because like I think some people looked at this and they were like, "Oh, this is how altars work." No, 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 no. This is just a Lost Belt 7 thing. Like this is not a normal conventional way of altering someone. And this is exactly kind of showing you that right here. I fucking hate that. Like I fucking hate that line. Like I understand they're trying to make it impactful, but one of the biggest things I hate in FGO's story is when they quote unquote kill a character off, because it makes almost no sense to actually kill a character off. If you want to kill a normal human, sure. Killing off a servant, to me, it's stupid. And we all know that they'll just undo it if they ever want to. It's one of those deals where it's like, we're just coming up with a plot convenient reason that you can't have this character again. See, and this is exactly my counterpoint to anybody that ever claims that the Lost Belt 6 characters deserve all the time that they have because they're so popular. Obviously, they're popular. That is just a beautiful scene for Nito Chris. Like, straight up. FGO has some amazingly popular characters like her that it took us all the way till LB7 before she actually got some proper story of her own. That's what they need to be doing more of. Not constantly sitting on one set of characters. They need to be developing more of the roster narratively. Because again, people love some of these characters. Gonna need Nito Alter Summer? God, I can't wait. That'd be amazing. Unless Tenochtitlan helps us. Shisho still doesn't have story content, sadly. Right? Like, we've never actually gotten a proper, like, Irish Singularity or Lost Belt or anything. The closest we ever got was the Lotto event that had jack shit for story. Ah, yes. The chapter titled Space Tree. As part of her ascension? Maybe. More like Sexico. Yeah, the American Singularity is like the closest thing. We need a proper OG story, OG Tamamo story chapter? Sure, right after my proper OG Artoria story chapter. Been a year since we last saw each other. Okay, so it's Ort he's talking to. Seba. So the only thing I find interesting is the parallel with LB6 and the pit that housed Fluffy. So the Tree of Emptiness and the space tree at the heart of Mayan mythology are not the same. It's just, I guess you could say the Tree of Emptiness is this Lost Belt replacement for that. Ort took on its function. There is no tree. Ort just is the replacement for the tree. The biological concept of death doesn't apply to it. The only thing I don't like about this is that this is yet another, like, Lost Belt paralleling the first part singularities thing. This is straight up, like, Tiamat. So it's like, I really hope it doesn't end at that point. Just for the sake of being different, right? Like, so you're gonna transplant Ort's heart. So is he a machine? Is that what we're gonna say he is? Because you already said he's a living creature before this. So I'd also like to point out, this is a little bit of a either translation or just writer fuck up. This particular line, he can't be, he's either just speaking like stupidly to Iskali, or he's actually talking to you, the reader, instead. Because Iskali doesn't know this colloquialism. You know how they say dead brain cells never come back? You literally just had to explain to Iskali before what like a transplant was. Or a prosthetic. So, like, he doesn't even know what a cell is. So, he would not know anything about this. So, like I said, this is just a weird thing, and it may be how they chose to translate it, or it may be just how it is in JP, but it actually feels like he's talking to you, the reader, rather than to Iskali at that point. Even though he may just be, like, flapping his gums and doesn't realize that Iskali has no idea what he's talking about. Easily explained to readers, yeah. And that is why I assume that's a line more for the readers than anything else, is because, like, that's what this is. This is exposition to explain what Ort is. So this is also another interesting thing. So he's like, whether or not you can come back from death. What if you can't die? Like, what if you're just immortal? Because we obviously have the concept of the gods in the Greek Lost Belt that are immortal. Because they're machines, but they could also be, like, killed somehow as well. So this is another interesting idea. And I think this also comes to, like, the concept of, like, what if we shoot it with the black barrel? Because the black barrel is supposed to, like, calculate whatever it's, like, finality of operation is and be able to end it. So is he going to be immune to the black barrel because he's technically already died? Is that going to be like the trope that gets him out of it? Or is it going to be the case of like, oh, well, he doesn't have the concept of death, he can't be killed, and therefore there is no final end date, at which point he wouldn't be like the LB5 gods, which did have an end date. So there's a lot of like, I'm going to be really interested to see what they say here. Anything that can't die isn't alive. It's more of a phenomenon. I don't like that explanation in a game where mythologies and gods exist. So I'd also like to point out it's really interesting because Tez kind of looks like Tez almost looks like he was drawn specifically for this setting. Like just due to the color scheme. Destroy and leave for another planet when it either gets bored or receives a new directive and order. A grand order? So his Kali's a sacrifice. I want to kill him even more. That's right. You know it. We absolutely rizzed her. This is the breaking point for Iskali. He could do anything, but he's been a Tlaloc simp the whole time. Uh... I come on, man. This man literally pulled the freaking meme. He was sitting there with that shit-eating grin and then was like, what do you mean? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's literally this freaking meme. Yeah, I'd like to point out, if there is any sort of continuation, because there was another alternative to what we were saying earlier, and that's that Nasu pulled a Nasu. So when Camazotz claimed that he absorbed every living soul from his civilization down to the last man, that was Nasu pulling a Nasu, and he just absorbed almost every living soul. That is definitely a conclusion, but unfortunately, it creates a plot hole because he worded it that way. So that was one of those things that I was just thinking about right there when his colleague was talking about the Acelema and stuff, and it's like, yeah, there is the theoretical possibility that, like, that civilization lived on and outlived Camazotz to some degree, but it doesn't matter because it was worded the way that it was, and so because it was worded that way, you have to take it at face value, or else you have to assume that the writer lied. And at that point, if the writer lied, then everything could be a lie. Did I finish that game? Far Cry 6? No, I don't think I ever did. I didn't really vibe with it too much. Wait, so is this a I have to chat? Wait, I thought they said it was Habitrot. Do I not? Can I take anything? Because a moon cancer would be best here. Mash or Habitrot? So there's no Saberface moon cancer, so that pretty much restricts me to either going neutral against him or something else. Mash needed? This one may actually be a little bit spicy for me to complete. Why do I keep pressing every single thing? And it depends on the circumstances of the fight. I just don't know. I actually think we're gonna do that. I was gonna do taunt, but I think that may be the safer play. And then let's go with OG. And we'll hope and pray. Data update maybe soon. We should be fine. Herky this dude down a pit. Wait, why is there just suddenly no music? Do all attacks and death? That's kind of annoying. Okay. I might be able to card that. Let's see. Nah, I needed a triple crit. Wait, I'm confused. He didn't heal? Or yeeted the OST? It seems like it. I feel like there should be some epic OST playing right now. Is this just a bug? It intentionally didn't have music. Wait! They did say he couldn't die. Son of a bitch, dude. I could have just... I was just preparing to yeet his ass on the next turn. That's all it was. God damn it, dude. 5 AP. How long? Oh, we got 1 minute left. Yeah, chat. I'll end it here because the next fight is little bit spicy. So unfortunately, that will have to be tonight's end. We didn't get very far. Tomorrow, I'd like to make it a little bit further. Again, we got kind of bogged down with all the conversation that happened today. But yeah, we'll probably, you know. Wait, what's tomorrow, chat? What's actual day tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Why don't we make tomorrow We'll see. I'll have to think about it because basically I'm thinking like why don't we make tomorrow like a full like 7.2 day, but I think there's some problems with that because I'm trying to like think about scheduling and recording that Valentine's Day guide. So I'll think about it and I'll get back to you guys. But tomorrow might be a full day. It might not. It just depends. Let me see who else on. I see a Mr. Fox for us on. We send you guys his way. He's playing some Fate Extra. Thank you for streaming. Yes, no problem. And again, if you guys haven't already, go check out the second part of the banner review series. Do me the favor, go give it the view. And it's already out on the YouTube channel. And again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for staying until the end of the stream. I hope you guys found the stream at least entertaining, to say the least. So, but yeah, I will be back tomorrow. We'll be definitely doing more of 7.2, and we'll see. Maybe Valentine's either tomorrow or the next day. It'll just depend. But again, have a good evening, and go give Mr. Fox my love.